What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back for some more Joy Division as we reach the, let's say, last third or last quarter of the Substance compilation. Thank you again to Han Solo. And the next track is Failures, a single word title, the plural version of failure. And in that regard, I do wonder whether the failures are of a single person, multiple failures, whether it is comprehensive or widespread, everything and maybe everyone failing. But either way, it's not completing, not achieving whatever one or a group of people have set out to do. And there are different types of failures. There could also be moral failings where actually you do complete the endeavor, but the ethical considerations are such that maybe you've made a wrong step or you've not done yourself proud in terms of your morality. So again, the nature of the failure, the context of the failure, and the ramifications or consequences of the failures, plural, will have to be determined, or at least whatever I can catch on a first hearing. Let's listen. This is Joy Division. The song is Failures, and it's included on the Substance compilation. Symbol. Yeah, surely we've jumped back in time. Like, I had this sense that maybe not in every single progression, But as we've been going through the compilation that we've been generally moving forward in time, this definitely feels more similar to the first few tracks that we heard. But yeah, like more or less a late 70s punk sound, maybe a bit like old school rock and roll as well. And in that regard, it does actually remind me of Teenage Head, a Canadian band I've been going through from the late 70s, very early 80s. And they definitely have a bit of a blend of like 70s punk rock mixed with a like, 50s rock and roll sort of vibe. And this one was very much in that vein. But like in regard to the 70s punk sound, it's loud, it's a bit raw, like it really just has that late 70s punk vibe to it. And lyrically, I don't really know. I mean, I heard the one like in the image of his father's son, something like that. And it, like my very first thought is like, oh, could this be kind of like a religious commentary or something like that? But then it was like, the only one, and I'm thinking like, maybe it's more like terrestrial and, of the human world, so to speak. But yeah, I don't quite know what the failures are on that first listen. I just know that the attitude seemed to be a bit edgy and, not confrontational, but, sort of intense or raw like the Sonics. But yeah, again, as someone who does very much enjoy early punk rock, not so much late 70s. Like for me, the bands that I really, really enjoy, which you can see behind you, Subhumans, Bad Religion, Dead Kennedys. I mean, Dead Kennedys did actually start late 70s, but a lot of what I listen to is like early to mid 80s punk. And so, yeah, ultimately, this isn't quite that sound. It's, and it's not so much like, a narco punk or something like that, or at least like as I picked up. And sonically, again, it's a bit lighter and more, rock and roll-ish, but it definitely has that raw energy and noisy, sort of edgy sonic atmosphere that I associate with late 70s punk. And yeah, as I said, I'd be curious to know, like, surely this came before Love Will Tear Us Apart, right? Like, there's no way they went back to this sound after kind of finding that, like, moody, like, pop, like, dark pop sound. So I'd be surprised. I guess it's entirely possible, but yeah, I feel like we probably jump back in time with this one. Either way, I've really enjoyed hearing what New Order grew out of, and obviously, the Joy Division material is very different from that. Now, again, Movement was a heavy, kind of dark album, and I get it. It's, in the wake of Ian Curtis dying, and the sort of the feelings that were following the band and that they were trying to process and so on. But yeah, generally speaking, New Order's material has been very different from the Joy Division material, so that's also been a really enlightening experience to go through. So once again, shout out to Han Solo and to Eric and others who've shared New Order. Let me know what you think of this, and I will see you next time. Peace.